All right, today we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most critical, yet almost completely invisible parts of the internet. It's called the Domain Name System, or DNS for short. And trust me, you use it every single second you're online. I mean, have you ever really stopped to think about it? You type a website into your browser, you hit enter, and poof, it just appears. It feels like magic, right? But what's really going on there? How does your computer, out of the billions of places it could go, know exactly where to find that one specific website?
Well, this right here is the fundamental challenge. We humans think in words. We remember names, like google.com, but computers, they live in a world of numbers. They talk to each other using these long strings of digits called IP addresses. So the big question is, how do we bridge that gap between our world and theirs?
That bridge, that translator, works a lot like something you might find in an old library, a really, really big phone book. And this is it, the Domain Name System, or DNS. Its one and only job is to be the phone book for the entire internet. You give it a name, it looks up the correct number, and then your computer can make the connection. It's really that simple, and it is absolutely vital. And I'm not exaggerating. Every link you click, every app on your phone that connects to a server, everything you do online depends on this silent, invisible process happening in the background. If DNS were to just stop, the internet would effectively grind to a halt. So how does this lookup actually happen? It's not just one step. It's more like a high-speed global scavenger hunt.
This lookup is basically a lightning-fast relay race. First, your computer checks its own memory, its local cache, to see if you've been to that website recently. If not, it asks a recursive resolver, which is a fancy name for a server usually run by your internet provider. Think of this resolver as a detective. The detective then asks the internet's root servers, the master index of everything. The root server points it to the right top-level domain, or TLD server. That's the part that handles all the .coms and .orgs. And finally, that TLD server points to the authoritative server, the one that holds the official final IP address.
And here's the wild part. That entire journey, potentially bouncing between servers all over the globe, happens in the blink of an eye. We're talking milliseconds. It's just astonishingly fast. But here's the catch. For all its speed and genius, this system was built a long time ago, back when the internet was a very different place. And it has a critical flaw. You see, when DNS was first created, the internet was a small, tight-knit community of academics and researchers. It was built on trust. Security just wasn't the main concern. So that phone book we were talking about, it was basically left open on a public table for anyone to read, or even worse, to change. And that's exactly the danger. If the phone book isn't protected, a hacker could intercept your request, scribble out the correct number, and write in a new one that leads you to a fake website they control, designed to steal your passwords or your money.
Thankfully, the internet community realized what a huge problem this was, and they've developed some pretty powerful upgrades to secure our digital path.
The solutions really boil down to two main technologies, DNSSEC and DNS over HTTPS, or DOH. You can think of it like this. DNSSEC verifies that your destination is legit, and DOH protects the privacy of your journey to find it.
So DNSSEC is kind of like a digital wax seal on that phone book entry. It adds a cryptographic signature that proves the IP address you received is the real deal, that it came from the right source, and that no one has tampered with it along the way. DOH, on the other hand, is all about privacy. It takes your request, whereisgoogle.com, and puts it inside a secure, encrypted envelope. This is super important because it stops anyone on your network, say at a coffee shop or an airport, from snooping and seeing which websites you're trying to visit. With all this extra security, DNS is really transformed from a simple phone book into something much more powerful and personal. A better way to think about it now is as your internet's GPS. A good DNS provider won't just find you the fastest route to a website, it'll also verify that the destination is safe and make sure no one is spying on your trip. And the best part is, you actually have control over which GPS you use. So, let's just quickly run through the key takeaways. DNS is the internet's phone book, turning names into numbers. It's an incredibly fast four-step journey. But the original system was insecure. Now, DNSSEC acts like a seal of authenticity, while DOH encrypts your search for privacy. You know, most of us just use the default DNS that comes from our internet provider without giving it a second thought. But this system guides your every single move online. So it leaves us with one last, really important question. Do you know who controls your digital GPS, and you trust them to get you where you're going safely?